Good morning, Malcolm and Beans. Malcolm Beans, baby, in the morning. You guys are probably like, are you gonna talk about the bags in your eyes? Are they ever gonna go away? You know what? I think they might just be permanent. I got a little bit of sleep last night. Went to bed watching Tom and Jerry with my daughter and my wife, which is a movie night. And went to bed early. Woke up at 11, wide awake. Went to bed at like 9:30, which, I'm like, oh my gosh. So either way, my whole my whole philosophy or my solutions, how I roll and stuff is like, dude, if you're up and your wheels are spinning, you got to make the best of it. But I try to calm my brain down, put on the Bible app, listen to some amazing verses in the Bible audio, and then pass back out 30 minutes later. So I was pretty happy. Woke up a few more times, did the same thing, step and repeat. But either way, I'm here. Love you guys. What's happening? So sleep is a crazy thing. I truly know, just because I've been around so many naturopaths and so many healthy people that have like done the work. I've done it myself at times to where you can literally set yourself up, whether it's your caffeine intakes or working out or clearing your mind. There's a combination of things that I truly believe does help sleep. And I know a lot of people, it's one of the biggest issues in the world is sleep, and it's one of the most important things. My brain has always been a 5 to 6 hour, almost instant alarm clock. Ugh, not good. But when I'm up, I'm going. So, anyways, I kind of want to go down the sleep thing and really try to change mine because it hasn't been drinking because, like I said, I didn't drink January. I've only had like I think one drink so far. Maybe two. Had some in-laws in 2 nights. Where I had some drinks, but I kind of realized for me right now, it's like the non-drinking thing is definitely the way to go. But normally I had bags because I'd be, having fun with, knocking back a few with friends and whatever the case. But either way, sleep's an important thing. I got to figure this out because I love sleep. And when I do sleep good, I normally know that I'm going to work out. I'm on a caffeine control or no caffeine. And then, man, I'll just pass out and I'll sleep so good in my REM. So anyways, that was my thing on sleep. Secondly, I was just thinking about branding because, I think I was listening to Deion Sanders, obviously dropping some heat, and he just kind of said, "I don't show up to work; I show up to my calling." And I know, but he also did say, which I agree, is like sometimes you're in between, right? You're doing something because you have to pay the bills. Good for you. You got to stay responsible. It's easy to get behind, to get in financial issues. So it's not like sometimes you have to kind of position yourself, if you're going to transition. But he says, I show up to my calling, not my work or my job. And I was like, man, I was going to talk about a few different things, but it's like, how do you find your calling? How do you get to this place? And it's like, and he says, I don't show up to work. I love what I do. He's like, I love coaching. And I was just thinking about, man, sometimes like you love what you do, but you're like, well, how do you make money doing what you love? And everything I've done, from branding to building brands to working with brands, from motorsports to building apparel lines to design, fashion, production, to working in the health and wellness space, for major brands or developing brands. I love the development of something that matters, but equally as important. And I know everyone's always like, how do I come up with a name? I was thinking about names. I have a lot of trademarks and a lot of names, and will they ever become anything? I'm a creative head, so even if I don't ever bring them to a bigger company or bigger brand, I love the development process of creating, and it's a great exercise for anyone. And so the names, you kind of start to find that when you come up with names and you get creative, it normally kind of stems from like ideally something you love. So it's like, back to Dion, I show up to my calling. When I feel my calling, and if you look at the history of all names, and I could run through all of them at one point, of the names I have, there's normally a consistency of something which is a core of you, and mine is inspiring people, inspiring myself, because I wake up and I feel so inspired. I know this feeling. It doesn't mean that it's because of money. It's definitely not financial, this and that. It's just because I'm like, man, oh my gosh, when I've created brands in the past and that have become global brands, I'm like, people might not understand you, but eventually, if you believe in it enough and you could kind of get the messaging around whatever that brand is enough. So a couple random examples. I have the name Heartbearing. What does it even mean? Nothing, because it's not Nike right now. It's not like a bigger brand. It's not anything that's been pushed. But I've developed stuff. I made stuff. I thought I was going to launch, even bigger. I've sold a mix of hats, sweatshirts, and hoodies. But It was a heart shape with a bar through it, kind of like a Harley kind of symbol, but heart bearing was spelled heart, Heart, and then bearing, one word, Bearing. For me, that name was like, man, heart bearing with the wheel. It's like growing up skateboarding, moto, BMX, and just auto, wheels, dirt bikes, the whole thing. It's like, what was the common? They all had a bearing in the wheel. And so to me, it was like heart bearing. It's like when you love what you're doing, it's how you roll through life. It's how you roll through situations. It's how you roll into friendships, roll into, gratitude, appreciation. So heart bearing to me it was kind of fun. I gave it that, with my buddy Zach, I gave it this little Harley bar, which was kind of like the identification. But once again, what is, mended, becoming mended, heart bearing, there's all the names have kind of similar ties, which once again, the fun side of names and branding names. And I literally love helping people. I can take a brand from ideation, but it's not me though. Like I'm really good also. Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I have a gift. I'm not really good, but I do feel like what I can do really well for people is if I listen to them, I can kind of understand where they're going, in their head and their heart and their passion, their vision, and literally find names, brands, a mix of them that are usable, that you can actually trademark, and actually get and own domains, own handles, own the whole deal. So that is fun for me. Heart bearing. Another one I had was Your Rise. And it's spelled different, but once again, things didn't always, a lot of the brands, some people don't even know how to pronounce, the good ones have a flow to them, like, Oakley, Nike, it just kind of rolls off, you hear, when you say it, it's kind of like, it's easy to put in a hip hop beat, yo, with my Nike kicks. But anyways, that was really not a rap. So anyways, other name, Your Rise. And I basically took accessory and accessorize, and I put a Y over both O's. And this is just creating one day. And I'm like, man, if I could access my why, then I could truly, accessory, access your why, access your rise. And I was like, man, like if I could truly access my why in life, then I could truly, start going down the path to access my rise once again, to become mended. All these things have these interesting ties, but it's YORIZE. I also have both YORRIZE, but to me, then it started going deeper into like, what does that mean? Access your rise through your eyes. It's your journey, your life. Take the inspiration, pull it in, but then it's also access your rise. It's your rise. I grew up with bikes, man. Putting a bike at 12 o'clock, wheelies, respect to Meek Mill and all the homies, Baby D Blocks and One Way Little Man, the next generation of bike life guys coming up. Your rise is like, dude, it's that looking up, it's that dreaming big. It's just, there's so much behind it, but sometimes we're sitting here idle. Don't get me wrong, idle's a dope thing when you're getting ready to, go out there on a dirt bike. But so heart bearing, your rise, man, everything to me, like honestly, I'm just on the fly right now, comes from like the heart. And the why, like, why is this going to matter? Because man, you know what it feels like if you roll into each and every day, heart bearing, giving gratitude, love, wheels spinning, just all in. It makes me think of Ryan Sheckler and Sandlot and just people that create brands that are just more deeper to their heart, and I love seeing that. So that's a couple, heart bearing, your rise, and of course, everything I have around mended, on the mend, to become mended, like, just, mended hearts. It's just like everything is this interesting thing. But I think when it comes to a branding standpoint, I guess what I'm saying is creativity, having fun, finding what you love. Deion Sanders, it's like, I don't go to work. I show up to my calling. And your calling is normally, you have to start by being heart bearing and rolling through. Even if you're at Starbucks, wherever you're working, whatever you're doing, you just got to find the best in it and sharpen your sword in those situations. But then, you got to grind on the extra hours and the certain things, skip the party, skip whatever, and start finding that creativity. I bought my first computer. I had no money. Took an $8,000 loan to start designing when I was like 17, 18. And I knew I always loved it. Am I the best at it? Nah. I mean, I think creatively I can work really well with artists. So on that note is sleep, figuring out patterns for your sleep, because the more you sleep, you find your creative zones. My creative zone is at like 4 or 5 in the morning. My wheels are spinning. I mean, that's when I do my best, all the way till probably 3 or 4. Then I'm kind of like on cruise control. Like, don't expect Malc to crack crack some crazy, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Sometimes it happens, but normally my sweet spot's in the morning. It seems like hip hop artists, they find their lane and they're like between 11 and 5 in the morning, they're writing, writing songs in the studio. So if anyone's looking for, serious about like launching brands, creating brands, all the legality, all that stuff, literally taking something to start, that is definitely a sweet spot I love. I've helped a ton of people. I have some of the best resources to get that done. The reason why I even mention that is because if you're serious about going after something, yes, nothing's free. Everything costs something. I'm not saying necessarily to me, but yeah, you got trademarks cost money. Domains cost money. But there is a way to do it efficiently and to get you started going after your dream so you could truly get into your calling. Like I said, it's branding, design, the whole aspect. I got an amazing team around me. I launched Initial Friends. That's one other name I have. I happen to have the trademark. Am I going to use it for anything like from an apparel standpoint? There's not really a plan, but Initial Friends is IF. I've had this for like 5 or 6 years. It's my creative agency, but it's like what if you had someone to unselfishly help you accomplish your dreams? And it's also it's the initial friends, the initials of your closest friends, once again, that unselfishly help you accomplish your dreams. I want to see people win. If everyone just encouraged their friends and their people to kind of listen a lot and just kind of hear what they're saying, hear where they're going, a little bit of advice from the right person can get you on that track, and also just 100% belief in yourself. Like I said, my guardrails and all this stuff does come from my personal relationship with Jesus and with just that journey, and I love that. And like right now, I'm loving that, but I say this from the bottom of my heart, to each their own. If you're finding happiness, but I can see when people aren't happy. So, when heart bearing and that wheel's rusty and it's not spinning, I'm like, a little suspect right now, a little suspect. But I believe in everyone. Everyone's got such a gift. Like I said, I had so many challenges growing up, but all those challenges sharpened my sword to put me in a place to where all these brands, these brand names mended, and how I build and how I've, been blessed to kind of do these certain things is like, man, I love to see people win. And if I can help, my team's awesome too. If you guys are looking to seriously launch a brand, also, I love development. I'm friends with verticals with about 15 to 20 different factories. My brother Jeremy and Shane are crushing it on a mix of stuff. They have Gymweed, which is a healthier adaptogen energy drink, and they're just doing insane with that. They've got Bradley Martin and Sarah Safari, two super fit, super entrepreneur humans, and love seeing that stuff go down. But like I said, from products to supplements to apparel to fully developing your own thing to patents to all that kind of stuff. If you're looking to launch and you're excited about that, Malc and Beans is spilling right now, because I'm not here to hold all my stuff in my phone. One thing I always say for fun is like, your homies, you're like, oh yeah, we're tight. This is my boy over here. This is my boy. He's like, yeah, I got your back, bro. Okay. Go, okay, cool. He's like, so you're down to help me? He's like, yeah. He's like, okay, cool. Can do you have any resources? He hands you his phone and it's locked. You're all, motherfucker, bro. You hand me my phone like this? The phone's locked, G. A locked phone doesn't help anybody. I'm going to hand an unlocked phone because that's my resources from the last 25 years, because I want to see you win. I don't hold a vault on my research. I hold some things close just because you should look out for your stuff, just to make sure, because you work hard for it. But also, man, when I pioneered, changed the underwear game forever, and that category, and created an accessory in that category. I had 5 or 6 people that are now big brands you all know in underwear that are buddies that said, you inspired me to launch my own. It's all good. There's enough room. There's enough space. And what I learned is just focus on what you're doing and do it from that authentic heart. Sharpen that sword, heart bearing, roll in with your own vibe, your own style. Access your why so you can truly access your rise. Malc and Beans in the morning. We out. Love you guys.